to all people watching Mounties Corner. I'm your host, Ed the Mountie. Thanks for joining us. We are live here in Mounties Studio, and we are going to be talking about WWE Backlash tonight on the WWE Network at 7 o'clock. The pre-show Eastern Standard Time starts, followed up with the actual main card at 8 o'clock on. So, going to be an interesting show. I have two guests with me tonight. I have the one and only Nate Dawg from 5 Minute Promo. Nate, how you doing today?
I don't know. Give me 5 minutes.
You heard him, folks. He'll be checking out at 5:35 for him. We also have another great friend of mine, another fellow podcaster of WWE Wrestling Ramble, the one and only Steve. Steve, how you doing, man?
Doing well, ready to talk up Backlash because I think the card is going to be, or the show itself is going to be better than most are anticipating it to be.
You know, I have to agree with you. I mean, let's face it, guys. With everything that just happened, post-WrestleMania, we had the Greatest Royal Rumble in between. It was kind of a weird spot to put that Greatest Royal Rumble. I don't know how the logistics worked out and why they did it on that particular day, but I found it really intriguing that they do it post-WrestleMania. There wasn't a lot of like follow-up through the actual WrestleMania card, if you will. Kind of matches thrown together. Other than the fact that me and Nate went to Raw and SmackDown this past Monday and Tuesday, you could have easily missed this pay-per-view. I mean, the actual build-up was kind of like, it was a little bit off considering, because there was a lot of talk about the Greatest Royal Rumble, and then you didn't have much time after that. You had like a week and a half tops in order to sort of like pump up the next one. And in this past week on Monday and Tuesday on Raw and SmackDown, although we had a pretty decent show overall, there was a lack of GM presence, and there was not really, as far as I could tell, like a massive overtold story of like, hey, Backlash is this week following WrestleMania. So what are your thoughts on that? Nate, you go first.
I think a lot of the factor to do with what took place with the Monday and Tuesday and certain talents not being there and the Greatest Royal Rumble being the previous Friday. From WrestleMania straight up into this like pay-per-view that's taking place tonight, the travel schedule has been hectic for the talent. They've been traveling from one end, like they went to South Africa the week before, and plus they had the Saudi Arabia trip, and then they came back to North America. They sort of caught a break doing two shows in the same town like this week, and I thought that was pretty well thought out by WWE. But it's like what you said before in your intro, where certain things were left out, and you sort of got that feeling that Backlash wasn't coming this Sunday. And was it a question of, was the Greatest Royal Rumble thrown together real quick? Or was it that, Backlash is just being thrown in there? Don't get me wrong. I love the fact of, an international pay-per-view style. I just think in terms of where it was in the schedule was a little bit insane.
I totally agree. And like, before we get Steve's opinion on this, I just like to brush up on that too, because it's something that should be yearly made. I enjoyed it for what it was. But I do feel like the placement should have been, it should have been taken place on maybe a scale where, there's a little bit of a down period. It's where I'm talking about, like kind of like in between that, like Survivor Series and Royal Rumble, or maybe even before Survivor Series, like in between Money in the Bank Survivor Series, you could have maybe found a home for it there. I'd like to see them try this with maybe somewhere in Europe, like London, UK, something like that. I think that would be like a real hot crowd, different crowd. I understand why they did it the way they did it. And it is important to sort of, recognize that on an international scale. But at the same time, it's like, I really think and I hope that they can branch this out to, different venues and environments and really give people that sort of feel. I didn't mind the fact of it being, during the day on a Friday. Hey, it is what it is. They have to cater to the rest of the time, the rest of the year. So I'm okay with putting up with it once a year. You know what I mean? So Steve, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, going into the Greatest Royal Rumble and how they had that match or had that show stacked with the matches that they had, the title matches and otherwise. I thought more was going to happen. Though maybe I was hyping it a little bit too much than it's supposed to. I know most people are calling it glorified house show because not too much happened. No title changes actually happening, though I predicted that to be in my predictions. And the only title that actually did change hands was the one that was vacant, being the Raw Tag Team Championships there. But the show itself, I thought, was pretty good, and I certainly enjoyed it for what it was. Now, the placement between WrestleMania and Backlash only being a week and a half before Backlash, which is really the start of this new WWE season, this new way, that not new way, but new thing, as of new to us now, dealing with the brand extension of having dual branded pay-per-views. Raw and SmackDown Live both going to be throughout the whole season. I mean, heck, they even had that music video with the Superstars lip syncing to it. But anyways, you know, that going to be starting here this Sunday. So having the Greatest Royal Rumble kind of just pigeonholed and thrown in there, though I'm sure it was planned a year and ahead or otherwise, so it truly wasn't. I think WWE was just in a bind where they have this 10-year contract or, you know, contract with Saudi Arabia. They have this first show that maybe through the Saudi government, they determined when it was going to be. You know, I was hearing, whether true or not, rumors of the Saudi government and their people actually having a hand of booking the show and booking some of the talent part of the Royal Rumble itself. Why there were some and weren't some in that Greatest Royal Rumble, at least from what I was hearing. But all in all, I think the Greatest Royal Rumble show was good. I'm looking forward to when they return to Saudi Arabia. I believe it's going to be in November. So I'm looking forward to whatever that's going to be called and what that's going to entail. But and then WWE also messed up during the show. They ran those two promos, or at least one of them, talking about the women's matches at Backlash, and already had backlash about that Backlash promo. Saudi government are having to send out a memo apologizing to the people for that, and even showing women wrestling even in a promo, let alone there in person actually wrestling. You know, that in itself was a no-no, but running the promo was in itself a no-no. So that I was kind of surprised when that actually did happen during the show. But I didn't have an issue watching it in the afternoon. I actually kind of liked it myself. Had the day off from work, was able to watch it, enjoy it, and all that other stuff. So for me personally, I had no issue with it. And if that's the same case in November, then I'm fine with that. I enjoyed the show, but I agree with Mountie. I agree with you guys that it should have been and should be maybe at a different time, maybe not right before a pay-per-view, especially one like Backlash, which is in the end the backlash of what happened at WrestleMania. So let that be in its own and have that build be better and more entertaining for the audience to not then have this show that WWE has to focus on, because again, it just started a 10-year contract. Have to have this show be a hit for them and for themselves, and having the international growth for the company that is WWE that already is internationally branded. So I think the show was fine. And I'm looking forward to November, but I just hope that it was to be something better than it actually was. And I'm looking forward to Backlash tonight, because certainly I see more things happening and actual title changes happening as well.
No, well said. Well said. I have to agree with everything that you just said. I mean, the actual Backlash of tonight, it's not so much the matches that kind of intrigue me, nor am I over the moon sort of looking forward to. It's more the booking and everything that's going to happen going forward is what I'm really looking forward to. You have a lot of different matches here that could go one way and they just kind of stay the same, or you could possibly go in a different direction. You could have a couple of people tonight possibly turning on other people. I guess let's get into the first one that, well, we might as well talk about the pre-show. Bayley versus Ruby Riott. So Ruby Riott's going to have Liv Morgan and Sarah Logan in their corner, or her corner, I should say. And then you have Bayley on the other side. So, I mean, this is an interesting pre-show, one that I'm going to watch because I need to see what the hell is going to happen with Bayley and Sasha Banks. They need to stop dangling the carrot here. They need to start doing something with it, and it needs to be tonight. I don't know what needs to happen. I don't want to see a Sasha heel turn, although it's probably what we're going to get. But I'd rather see a turn, which is something that not many people would expect. If it was up to you guys, how would you book this match? Would you just have it a normal one-on-one and then no repercussions, and just have a winner. I mean, I think personally Ruby Riott should go over in this match. What do you guys think? Nate, let's start with you.
Well, I would say for like the last like week or two, I've been really big on Ruby Riott. We got a chance to see her in person, live in the ring this week on Raw. Like I said in a conversation with you earlier this week, I believe that she is ready. Whenever they're ready to pull the trigger and put the title on her, she will be more than ready to go. I don't foresee it in the immediate future, but if you look somewhere, 3-4 months down the road, 5 months, if that's the decision that they want to do in terms of booking it, she'll be more than ready to go and carry it as a champion. She went over earlier this week against Sasha, so I see the same thing happening for her. Regardless of how it's done, by hook or by crook, Ruby Riott goes over tonight in the pre-show. I see nothing but bigger and better things for Ruby Riott in the next 6 to 8 months.
Call me crazy, but if they decide, right, to actually have Nia Jax retain tonight over Alexa Bliss, call me crazy, but I believe that Ruby Riott will be the one to dethrone Nia Jax. Now, I also said on one of Steve's wrestling rambles, I want to say it was around SummerSlam, but I could be wrong. I was the one that said that Alexa Bliss was going to drop the title to a face, Nia Jax. I said that they can use the whole anti-bullying campaign. I thought it would have been a really good moment. I didn't know exactly when they were going to do it. I didn't say like, oh yeah, you got to do it at WrestleMania. No, but I do remember saying that Nia Jax should be the one. So I kind of am having the same sort of feeling behind this. And I want to stick to it because in my mind, I don't think there should be anybody else if they're not going to, pull it away from her and give it back to Alexa, which they could. We'll get that later. But I really think Nate is onto something there. She's got a big, bright future ahead. She was doing little things, like you said, Nate, and I didn't even notice it when we were watching. Maybe it's because you were on that side of the ring where she just tilted the body this way towards the camera just so everybody can kind of see what was going on. Like, that is genius. You're right. Those are little small things. And veteran Sasha Banks, if you want to call her a veteran at this point from a women's roster standpoint, things happen, right? But the fact that, you got a working partner in there with you and she's doing all the right things to sort of elevate all things women wrestling revolution related. She's got an interesting look. And she's great in ring, and she just plays a very good heel. Her theme song possibly could have been a little bit more heelish to my liking, to my fitting, but now I'm nitpicking. At the end of the day, I think she has what it takes, and she needs to win this match once and for all. And I want to see some sort of fallout between Bayley and Sasha Banks. Sees that Bayley's maybe going to win this match. And then she does something, and then Bayley just has enough. Like, I want to see something like that. But Steve, who do you got on this one?
Yeah, first I want to echo exactly what Nate was talking about earlier with having to do with Ruby Riott. I mean, I really see big things for her as well. That's why I was pleasantly surprised when the Riott Squad was called over to go to Monday Night Raw. Now they're part of the A show. All three of them, yes, technically, but I think the catalyst and the main point W is going to be looking for in giving anybody a push from those three members of said Riott Squad, being the leader, Ruby Riott. So I do agree with you guys, though I don't know when they would have her be Raw Women's Champion. Like, I think on SmackDown Live, she had a better chance to have a title reign sooner rather than later. Like on Monday Night Raw, on the Raw brand, yes, now she's on the A show. Yes, she's be able to be featured more. I don't think her becoming champion will be soon. I think if anything, if she's going to win the title before WrestleMania 35, if that was even to be an idea, she would have to be the winner of next month's Money in the Bank women's ladder match. If not, I don't see her winning or getting a title shot until after WrestleMania 35 there in New Jersey, at least for my thinking and booking for Ruby Riott. But I do see big things for her, and I do see her as a credible champion whenever that to be. But in my thinking, and I guess me thinking as a WWE person, I guess in their mind, I think they're going to have Ronda Rousey be the one to dethrone Nia Jax. They're going to have Ronda Rousey winning the championship. And you could have a situation, depending on whether the brand split ends at WrestleMania or continues, you have that big mega match of Ronda Rousey and Charlotte Flair that even could main event WrestleMania there in New Jersey. So I think they're looking that, or at least for me, looking that far forward, I see Ronda Rousey being the one to defeat Nia Jax and win the championship. But for Ruby Riott, I do see big things going for her, and I do see her one day being the Raw Women's Champion. And I do see that happening within the next 2 years. But for tonight, I have her just simply winning with the help of her Riott Squad teammates there, and Bayley and Sasha Banks maybe have a backstage by the lockers again kind of promo backstage segment where they're both are talking about, oh, I lost, well, you lost, and this and that kind of bickering. Though some said maybe Bayley getting the win here to have one over on Sasha Banks, and then you can have a segment again backstage or otherwise and have Bayley say that she defeated Ruby but you didn't, sort of thing. But I think Ruby's going to get the win. Makes more sense to have more momentum for her, so I'm going with Ruby in the pre-show. Yeah, no, that's a good call too. I agree with you. Speaking of locker rooms, like we saw a returning Big Cass backstage. That was his return, where he was just, you know, there in an interview, and you know, you saw his nipple, and then the camera went up. It's great, like amazing return. I like that. So we have him facing off against Daniel Bryan. This is interesting matchup. One that we're going to talk about now. You know, at the end of the day, Big Cass should go over. It could be monumental to his career for him to win this. Is it going to happen? I don't know. You also have returning Daniel Bryan, still hot, fresh out of the gate. If he loses, is it really going to tarnish anything? I don't know. Again, or do you just have like a double disqualification? Not double disqualification, but some sort of DQ, count out. Is this a one and done thing, or is this an actual feud that we're going to see for, you know, the next couple of pay-per-views? One way or another, this is a tough one. I feel like Big Cass should come out on top on this one, but I don't know if that's really going to happen, if that's the direction they want to go in. At the same time, you have Daniel Bryan. I don't think he's going to lose any steam at all, and Big Cass is just returning. Who do you got, Nate? This is a tough one.
To me, it's not really tough at all. Like this is clear cut. Daniel Bryan's going over in this. You know what? When Big Cass gets a T-shirt and can actually get some merchandise sales and actually gets, like, you know, the machine going behind him for a legitimate cause, like to go to the next level, they are going to cash in on the Daniel Bryan situation, him coming back as much as they can while they can. Yeah, to me, it just seems like a no-brainer. And it's like, yes, Big Cass, he has that natural, like, heat on him, as we saw in SmackDown this week. A lot of people have sort of turned a blind eye to it, but he does have that instant heat. But I think having Big Cass beat up on Daniel Bryan for 20 minutes in a pay-per-view really doesn't solidify him any more heat that he needs. Mm-hmm. And at the same time, that reaction of the crowd, depending where they place that match, Daniel Bryan tapping out the big man is exactly what everyone in that building and every fan wants to see.
Where do you go from there, though? If you go in that direction, what do you do with Big Cass? Like, this is somebody that could possibly feud with maybe even Roman Reigns after the Samoa Joe thing is done. I wouldn't mind seeing that particular feud. Like, if he does lose this, he has to bounce back in a major way. Else it's just a returning big man with no future and just lost in the limbo. So I hear what you're saying. I'm not going to say you're wrong. I'd like to see it. So, you know, guilty. I'd like to see that as well. Steve, what do you got?
Yeah, for me, I'm going with Big Cass. Now, this one was a difficult one because if you have a returning Daniel Bryan, you had to keep on that momentum. But he already had his first match back at WrestleMania there in the tag team match. When getting the W, winning with Shane McMahon, defeating Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn in that storyline, and putting that bow on that storyline. And I'm moving forward to Backlash. Big Cass, his first match, officially back at the pay-per-view. Though, yes, Daniel Bryan's first one-on-one in the pay-per-view. I think Big Cass needs it more. Definitely got into that heat. And I think moving forward, that's been my biggest reason why I'm going with Big Cass. Because he needs it, because moving forward, he has a better story to tell to move forward and have that already natural on his resume moving forward to getting a big win against someone returning Daniel Bryan himself. So Big Cass, I'm going with Big Cass here. And I see actually the Miz getting involved, kind of tomfoolery, fuckery there. and Big Cass getting a win over Daniel Bryan through the Miz. Then Daniel Bryan moving forward wants to get back at the Miz for shoot him over in the match. And you have that feud moving forward. For months had maybe culminating all the way to SummerSlam, and Big Cass going to whatever other things or just being with the Miz and being a lackey. However, wherever, I do see them giving Cass a push. It starts here tonight, and I have Big Cass getting the win over Daniel Bryan.
I'm not saying that he's going to win in a major way. I'm not saying he's going to win clean. I'm not saying any of that. I'm saying that he is going to somehow get some sort of weird victory and just ride on that going forward, where he's just going to be this cocky, like, I beat Daniel Bryan attitude, so like nobody else is going to touch me. I can kind of see him going in that direction. So very good prediction, boys. Honestly, this one could go either way. We'll see what happens. Going forward.
Can I just reiterate on something though?
Absolutely.
The problem with the Big Cass situation, and this is what I'm seeing with him, is that he's probably going to be like a first run Drew McIntyre kind of thing. He's the big man that's going to get lost in the mix. And basically, I feel like Big Cass is there replacing Baron Corbin's position on that particular brand, where he's going to come out, be a big guy, you know, put on decent matches, but inevitably it doesn't go anywhere, and he's just in big man wrestler's purgatory.
Yep. I know. I'm having a hard time sort of seeing what's his ceiling here. You know what I mean? Like you said, he needs to have the machine behind him. He needs to have some sort of merch sort of driven. And I don't know if it's just me. Like when we were at Raw and he came out, SmackDown. Right, SmackDown. When he came out, like that was the time where I went to go buy a T-shirt, and it wasn't like a shot at him. It's just that I didn't really feel like there was a lot of care, you know. Even though he's in the feud with Daniel Bryan, like I would probably paired him up with somebody else at first. I don't know if I would have paired him up with Daniel Bryan. I'm not sure if this was the right returning feud for him. Am I alone in thinking that?
No, I don't think you're wrong in thinking that. I mean, it could have been, and you could have had maybe if you did want to push Big Cass more, you have him in squash matches, maybe with the lower level of the card of SmackDown Live, and then build up to a Daniel Bryan thing. That's why I think this all ties in with the Miz. You know, you had last week when Big Cass did return officially on the show SmackDown Live. He was in Miz TV segment there, looking all dapper and stuff like that. I think he's going to be, whether teamed up with Miz, whether actually aligned or just pseudo-aligned in a sense. That's why maybe they decided to go with Daniel Bryan to be his first feud, because they're going to get to the Daniel Bryan Miz, which they were supposed to, or quote-unquote supposed to, even though it was booked this way anyways, but quote-unquote was supposed to start a couple weeks back with Daniel Bryan's return and supposed to be on Miz TV and this and that segment. So that's why I think they had this, because if they did want to build up Cass and try to ease them back in, quote unquote, you know, in matches, I think they would have went with someone different, of course, and had him just have a couple of squash pay-per-view matches, and then maybe then face Daniel Bryan. But I think the long game, or maybe even just a short game, is you have Big Cass, you have this quick feud with Daniel Bryan to get to Daniel Bryan and Miz, which is everybody's chomping at the bit to see what promos and to see the match, whenever that to be.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. And another match that we should kind of transition into, where again could go either way, and I want to see the booking behind it, and I want to see, you know, the fallout from this is Roman Reigns versus Samoa Joe. So Roman Reigns loses this. This is his third pay-per-view in a row that he does not win. He does not go over. Now, mind you, you know, at the Greatest Royal Rumble, the cage match, you know, I mean, the finish, it was what it was. We all know really, you know, who the true winner was. The WrestleMania main event with Brock Lesnar was the last minute change there. I would have bet a lot of money that Roman was going to win that, but again, it didn't really go that way. So, is this a reflection of, are they double double thinking or however you want to changing their mind on Roman Reigns. I don't know. Maybe it's just they think it's not the right time. They didn't think the publicity was going to be behind it. He definitely wasn't over in Montreal, I can tell you that. And it's very interesting. Who do you have go over in this one, Samoa Joe or Roman Reigns? I mean, Samoa Joe's mic work's been on fire lately. Excellent work, excellent in ring. Roman Reigns is not exactly doing anything wrong. He's just still doing his thing, and solid worker. He's getting better and better as he goes. And who do you book in this particular one, Nate? Who do you have on this?
I know Roman's where the money is, and he's one of the franchise faces of the company. But I feel with all the mic work and all the build-up, I think Samoa Joe has the major upside in this match in terms of what he's been saying over the last few weeks. I think it's actually a good thing for WWE to scale back Roman Reigns. I think they put too much too fast behind it, and I think they should have scaled it back a little bit. And if they were going to go full force with it, they should have done it back in 2014, 2015, when the Shield had first sort of gone their separate ways, or were just breaking out of their separate ways. It's not a question of whether it was too little, too late for Roman Reigns. Let's be honest, Roman Reigns is going to have some longevity in this company. They got major money behind them, major merchandise behind them. There's a huge upside. It's a question of, at some point, was this whole Brock Lesnar versus Roman Reigns just filler, or does it have an end game? And it just seems like it was all filler, because it doesn't feel like there's going to be an end game. And by Samoa Joe coming out the last 3 weeks saying, what did you do? All you did was talk and failed. All you did was talk and failed. So now I'm going to make the dog sleep. I like the terminology. I like the way that would just, I could see Roman Reigns with a major rush back to the top after one more loss. And I just feel like that would help everyone involved.
Are you saying that we need to see, you know where I'm going with this, Roman Reigns backstage segments outside of WWE, hanging out on a park bench with a bottle of whiskey in his hand with a full beard and saying, man, I don't have it anymore. And he's looking in the yard and he's looking at a bunch of dogs and he's like, man, this used to be my yard too. I used to be the big dog. What happened to the big dog? Some soul searching, maybe some spiritual stuff. I could book you the next 2 months of Raw and Roman Reigns segments if WWE would give me the green light.
Can we use some of that footage from your vlog that you did on the way to Raw last Monday?
Yeah, I don't know if you guys had a chance to check
dog
that
park and stuff like that. Let's use that dog park footage and we make one of those great video vignettes of, this was Roman's yard.
Remember where you heard it first, folks. That's right here in Mounties Studio. You watch that vlog and you will see I record the dog yard. And I said, guys, this is Roman's yard. Fantastic stuff. Good eye, Nate. I like it. Steve, what do you got, buddy?
I'm going to go with Samoa Joe here. I think, again, like I was talking about with Big Cass, I think Samoa Joe needs it, especially now he's going over to SmackDown Live. This being a live match, Raw and SmackDown. Samoa Joe getting the win here, continuing with Roman Reigns' story. Are we kind of making it a redemption story or some sort of way? Or with Roman Reigns keep losing at pay-per-views, and I see that continuing. I see Samoa Joe getting the win here, and then contending or being the next contender to face either AJ Styles or the first contender for Shinsuke Nakamura.
Well, he was, in my opinion, he was the biggest move in the shakeup. So you got to do something with him after. I don't think it's a good idea to have him lose this match. So I'm with you guys too. I've noticed that have I picked 3 heels so far? I don't know. I'm still on the fence with the D. Bryan Big Cass one. We'll see about that. Going into the next match is Carmella and Charlotte Flair. So Carmella has proved, hasn't really proved too much yet. She did a pretty decent job on Tuesday. She's doing all the heel, kind of like chicken shit sort of approach, which we've seen before, but it's not unexpected, is what I'm trying to say, because she's not the biggest, she's not the strongest, so she's gonna have to find ways to outsmart her opponents, and I can kind of see that happening tonight. I'm thinking she retains. As much as I love Charlotte, I mean, unless they really wanted to like literally have the cash in, give her it, and then give it right back to Charlotte in hopes that maybe they build, like Steve was saying, some sort of angle down the road with Ronda Rousey. I don't know, but I kind of want to see where this goes with Carmella. I don't. Even if she was to drop the title, I don't think it elevates her that much. Even if she was champion, and okay, yeah, cool, you could say she's had it for like whatever 3-4 weeks or whatever. But you know, I want to see her defend it on pay-per-view. I want to see her retain it on pay-per-view grounds. I want to see a little bit more developed out of her character as a heel, as a champion. I want to see all of that. I think she's done a pretty good job making herself relevant and like, okay, when she's on TV, okay, let's see what she's doing. She's got a loud voice. She's kind of annoying. I love her, but I love Charlotte too. Don't get me wrong, but I think this is a good opportunity to sort of elevate Carmella to that next level, you know. And what do you guys think about that? Whenever you're ready, Nate.
All I could say is Mella is money, and with the way that this is shaping up to be, I love Carmella as the chicken shit heel. She doesn't have to prove her ring work as long as the character keeps getting better. I'm really enjoying these last 3 weeks with her as champion. The way that she's got it and the way that she's been carrying it has been quite entertaining. Let's face it, as it is right now, Charlotte's the GOAT in terms of the women's division. She doesn't need the title, nor does she need to be exactly near it. She'll always be in the mix because she's a legitimate candidate for being a world champion at any given time. So if they're going to give her the top dog, as in Charlotte, the first part of the storyline, I would like to see Carmella sort of prevail through the whole thing, retain the championship, and move on to bigger and better things. Plus the little teaser that we got earlier this week, I think the Iconics might have something to say about whether she retains that title or not.
Yeah,
I agree. Steve, what do you got?
I'm going out Carmella to retain the SmackDown Live Women's Championship. Kind of for the simple reason that she just won it. Why have her already drop it? Charlotte being the best in the women's division, I don't think she needs to have the championship right now. That's fine. And I don't have an issue with her being in the title contention, being in the picture right now. But Carmella, I think, deserves to have a nice long reign, at least for a couple of months, at the least for me. So I'm going to go with Carmella to retain.
Yeah, I think we're all on the same page on this one. Pardon the pun. It's a SmackDown match. No, get it? Page, GM. Anyways, that was cool. I want to go through the chat a little bit before we continue. So consider this like an intermission, like a Snickers commercial. But I don't have a Snickers, nor would I give one to one of you guys. I don't know how to do that. So Broken Empire was the first one in the chat. I could have probably sensed that a mile away. He's probably one of my most loyal subscribers. So what's going on, Broken? Hope you're doing good. Adam Thunder, he thinks Lashley will turn on Strowman. I want to get into that match after. Did we talk about that match yet? We did not.
No,
right?
we didn't.
No, not yet.
We did not. So I want to talk about that one next. Excellent. We also have Chris Jericho in the chat. It's got to be the real one, right? You stupid idiot. Shinsuke will want to hit AJ in the balls, but there will be a surprise. That's fantastic. Jeff, look at that. Jeff writes, this channel needs to blow up. Keep doing your thing. Thank you very much, Jeff. I appreciate that. The only way we're going to blow up is if people start sharing it around and got to get my name out there. So appreciate the support, brother. Love it. Jeff's also thinking Lashley will turn heel tonight on Strowman. We had Valina pop by. She's all in favor that Ruby is big. Guaranteed. No questions asked. And then she also thinks I'm not crazy. Ruby will dethrone Nia. So I'm glad to see some other people are thinking in the same mindset. Jeff also, excuse me. Jeff also thinks that Big Cass will win by TKO. That's a bold statement. I don't think I can see that one happening, Jeff. But I like you, man. So
maybe he could win with a TKO and do like the marvelous Mark Mero like finish. That'd be awesome.
That would be interesting. We'll see what happens there. Clarence is in the house. Actually, first, Boss Gaming Boy. He just says, "What's up? What's going on, man? Thanks for popping by. My name is Clarence. He's got Joe going over Reigns. So subscribers are smart. Our subscribers are very smart. They have the same mindset as us, and they can see the same thing kind of happening." Jeff also says, "I want Joe to win, but boring Reigns will win clean." Ooh, winning clean is something that, okay, obviously could happen, but I'm not sure if they want to go that way and squish Samoa Joe's momentum. I don't know if it's a great idea. So we also have Jeremy Best that popped in. He's got Joe to win. Clarence says, a Reigns heel turn. How do you do it, though? The only way that he can turn heel is if somehow he joins forces with Samoa Joe, because like a returning Dean Ambrose comes to help Reigns, and then like Reigns like turns his back on Ambrose, and then like him and Samoa Joe do a big beatdown. That's a bold statement, isn't it? Crazy prediction right there. Imagine that. Now that would be like, you got two Samoans named Joe, and that's your name of your stable. Two Samoans named Joe. No? Okay. Anyways, we'll see what happens. We'll get back to the chat in a minute. So going into this tag team put together match, Strowman and Lashley versus pretty much, this is weird because this is, I mean, we saw them on Monday Night Raw, Braun Strowman and Bobby Lashley. You know, they were in a triple or a three-man tag, so a six-man tag, I should say, 3-on-3, Braun and Bobby Lashley. Also, Roman Reigns was part of the picture. And they went against Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, and Jinder Mahal. Now, this Sunday at Backlash tonight, Braun Strowman and Bobby Lashley are paired up randomly, and they're against Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. So there's got to be something. I don't think that they should just have this, you know, be like a one-and-done random match with no payoff. Is somebody turning on somebody? Is Lashley going to finally do something? Because they kind of stuck him in a weird position as well, where, you know, you had him come out to help out Roman Reigns on Monday Night Raw in Montreal. Not a good idea. They if anything, they should have had like Strowman come out first to help Roman Reigns, which probably, you know, because he's over in his own right and the fans respect him. And then maybe you would have had Bobby Lashley come out after that to help, because it just seemed the way it went down, where Reigns was in trouble and being booed, but he was being cheered because he was getting stomped down. And then Bobby Lashley comes out. Of course, the fans are going to boo. They're like, well, don't come out here and help this guy. We like what we see. We like what we see, so leave him alone. And he's kind of been put in, you know, Bobby Lashley's kind of made a name for himself, you know, MMA stuff. And TNA was kind of a big character there and a big name in his own right. And what are you going to do with him? So, you know, there was early rumors from, not rumors, but I guess speculation from fans around the world saying that he's going to be the one to like take down Brock Lesnar. I don't see it happening, man. Like, I almost hope that they turn Lashley heel somehow, some way, and, you know, have him go in that direction that he did in TNA. It could be a little bit better. What do you guys think, Nate? Who wins this?
The smart money would be on Strowman and Lashley. But I'm a hometown boy, so I got to go with Owens and Zayn. I'm not going to turn on them. I've been behind that locomotive since 2002, 2003. Those are my guys. I'll go bankrupt with my money behind those guys. And you know what? In terms of the Bobby Lashley thing, I'm sadly disappointed in the whole Bobby Lashley, like bringing him back, the introducing him and stuff like that. I thought what he did at the Greatest Royal Rumble with Cass was very selfish, very stupid. He's lost a lot of credibility in my eyes. I really don't care what they do with Bobby Lashley going forward. I was really high on him coming in. Now that he's here, I'm looking forward to him leaving. to be perfectly honest. Yeah, he's got that kind of heat with me right now.
Ouch.
He almost dropped Big Cass on his neck, trying to prove how strong he was after Cass was out for like 7 months with a knee injury. You're supposed to protect those guys. You're not supposed to be taking liabilities. To me, he lost credibility. To hell with Bobby Lashley. That's all I got to say about that.
Wow, I didn't see that one coming.
Yeah,
Steve, you got mad at him also?
Well, I was kind of disappointed there in that spot there with Big Cass because literally that just looked cringeworthy, especially after it happened and just the way Cass landed and everything. And I think there was another spot also during the Greatest Royal Rumble match itself where Bobby Lashley messed up in another botch. I forget who it was with, but there was another instance where he was trying to look stronger than he really was and almost injured another superstar. So I don't know if I'm going all the way to where Nate's going. We're giving up on him, but certainly doesn't help, in my opinion, of him with what happened during that show, during that match specifically. Now, for this match, I'm going with Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn to win. I see either that he's one of them turning on the other, meaning Strowman and Lashley, or it actually happening. If I had to predict, I'd predict the latter, meaning I would rather probably see a tease of that happening, them just losing the tag team match. So Zayn and Owens getting a big from this match. I think they need it more, as I talk about with other matches, and them coming to Monday Night Raw. I think this wouldn't be a good notch in their belt moving forward. Whether they stay a tag team or however, go for the Raw tag team titles, that's unknown. But for tonight, I see Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn working together as a well-oiled machine and getting the win.
I like it. Let's face it, Braun Strowman's tag team partner choice is better than Nicholas at this point.
I disagree.
Really, that bad, huh?
There you go.
Can I just reiterate something? I'm extremely bitter with Bobby Lashley for the simple reason that Bobby Lashley's on this card and not Jinder Mahal, and I think that that's a total injustice to wrestling fans.
There we go.
Worldwide to not see the modern-day Maharaja do what he does best.
Hashtag Raw is Mahal. There we go.
Hashtag Kyron loves Jinder.
There you go.
I love trolling him with Jinder. But you know what? Nate's not wrong. I mean, at the end of the day, this is a good way to segue into that next match for you because I'm not happy with how that went down. I don't understand why Jeff Hardy keeps getting praise when he just seems to mess up, left and right, and it's just unbelievable. I'm trying to do this seriously, Nate, but with you dancing, it's getting very tough to do that. I mean, I don't love it. I'm just saying, man, and it's not even just because it was Jinder Mahal. It could have been somebody else. If it was Rusev, I would have been pissed too. I don't know, man. Like, what's the deal here? What direction are they going with the U.S. goal? I want to see a Randy Orton heel turn. For the love of God, do it tonight. Ramble, if you lose this match, you better go full-fledged heel. Because I'm tired of this.
How about he stays face and we put him against Big Cass?
Say that again.
How about Randy Orton stays babyface through and through, and we put him against Big Cass? The learning curve through the roof.
You might have to. If they're going to continue to have Randy Orton be this particular character and you want to keep him there to work the newer talent, fine. But I really think that he has a little bit more to give, but he's only going to give it as a heel. I enjoyed the fact that he had the title going into WrestleMania. Nate was the one that called that, saying that he was going to win that match and bring the prestige of the U.S. title going into WrestleMania. I enjoyed that. So what do you do now? In my mind, Jeff Hardy retains. It's as simple as that. I don't know what plan they have going forward after this and who will be the one to dethrone him. I don't see it being the Viper tonight. I don't see why they would have done all that they did with it because the idea was, Jinder has the title, he goes to Raw, and then gives it to Jeff Hardy, and it comes back to SmackDown, and he's just going to go back to Orton. It sounds really weird to me. So, what do you guys think? Who wants to go first?
I just really don't see like a big turn in direction for the U.S. title. I think keeping it on Jeff Hardy is safe for now. Yeah. I don't understand what's holding up the machine from putting it on Rusev. Ed, we were in Montreal on Tuesday. We know Rusev is through the roof in terms of getting over with the crowd. I really hope they don't wait too long and completely miss the boat on it. Because if they thought that they were making money off merchandise with Rusev now, I can only imagine with a title around his waist.
I agree. And I don't enjoy the fact of him and Lana sort of seeing that Aiden English is like holding him back. I think it's a mistake. I think you can get a good 6 more months easily out of this Aiden English and Rusev gimmick if you utilize it properly. Especially if Aiden English is injured or something like that. Like, I enjoy the fact of this is how people get it pumped up. They hear the opera singer's voice, and they know that he's coming. It's perfect. It's very well done, and you can get more out of it. You don't need to sort of separate these two guys. They're the last thing you need to separate at this point, if you ask me. I would separate New Day before I would separate these two guys. That's just my take. But I know that's not going to happen. Steve, what do you got for this one, man? You got Randy Orton, or do you have Jeff Hardy?
I got Jeff Hardy. I have Jeff Hardy retaining the championship. I see him holding it at least for a couple more months. And then who's going to dethrone him? Maybe Rusev, if they actually do go that direction, pairing him back with his wife, Lana. But then again, I kind of get sick of my own song and dance of wanting WWE to do something with them. Seems like, something's going to be happening. Kind of like how Dolph Ziggler fans feel when they think that something's going to happen for him and then it doesn't, and the rug just pulls out under him. I think the same thing here with Rusev fans, or at least it seems that way, at least to me, as it pertains to Rusev. But I would think that he would be the next one up, and if not him, maybe even Big Cass. I know we were talking about Big Cass and how we should have him booked moving forward after this match with Daniel Bryan tonight, Backlash. Maybe you have Big Cass in the U.S. title picture. Because you don't want to just send him already to the WWE Championship, of course. Yeah. So you have him here in the U.S. title picture, maybe get a couple title shots, if not win the championship, and that's where he can comfortably sit here on SmackDown Live, and with a 2-hour show, definitely be showcased more in that sense than Lost in the Shuffle on the Raw brand, if that's where WWE did put him. But here I'm going with Jeff Hardy to retain and defeat Randy.
I like what you said there, and as far as Rusev's concerned. Are they doing this as far as this, maybe a possible split coming soon? Are they doing this because he's supposed to be a heel and he is just way too over? Or are they doing this where Aiden English could be the actual heel at the end of the day somehow, some way? And then, Rusev full-fledged. If Rusev's going to be U.S. title champion at some point, I think he's got to do it as a face. I think it would be pretty well done. And I like what you said with Big Cass and how he has to start at the bottom. For him, there's no rush on this, man. He's got to build himself to how do I say it? Like a level where we can kind of take him as a serious heel. There's no doubt in my mind that you should start him from the bottom. The guy's never even held any gold whatsoever. NXT, WWE, you name it. So let's see what he's about. I wouldn't mind seeing Big Cass being the one to dethrone Jeff Hardy. But it all depends. It all depends. It depends how he does tonight. Depends how he does, weeks after. I mean, we've seen superstars, go in their single ways, and we weren't sure about it. Like Braun Strowman it's a very good example. When he first came out, started being Squash Man and everything, we're like, okay, but what's going to happen? Look at him now. Amazing work, right? So, I mean, if Big Cass can sort of follow in that guy's footsteps, maybe have him chirp in his ear a little bit, like say, hey, how did you kind of do this? Now, mind you, Strowman was, eventually a face, but we've seen Big Cass as a face. It's not horrible either. And they can always go that direction down the road. So one way or another, Jeff Hardy, I'm agreeing with both of you guys where I think he retains. You know, we'll see what goes down, what kind of finish, that sort of stuff. Speaking of the you know, Daniel Bryan, Big Cass sort of fallout, what's going to happen? I know Steve mentioned the fact that the Miz could be a factor in this. Now he is on the card. I want to talk about that now. He's going up against Seth Rollins. It's a singles match, obviously, like the others, and this one's for the WWE Intercontinental Championship. So I have to say, even though Backlash, you know, you got to have your matches and all that, you have a lot of title matches tonight for the most part. Like you have a good, I think you have a good 5 of them. So you have Seth Rollins, who's been an incredible so far Intercontinental Champion. Well, not everybody, but a lot of people wanted to see Finn Balor with it. I think they made the right move, and you know, the ovation in Montreal just spoke volumes. Pardon the pun. That, you know, he really is the man right now as far as the upper mid card and carrying the prestige, if that was even possible, from the Miz being champion for that set amount of time with the IC title. It's very hard to follow up on that, but I do feel like Seth Rollins is doing a fantastic job. So where do you go with it? Do you give it back to the Miz? I don't think, for the first time, I don't think the Miz should win this. And I'll tell you why. I think he needs to go to that next level now. Go in, now that he's on SmackDown and everything else, he needs to sort of try to put himself into the main event picture. What do you guys think? Rollins?
It's the way they did the Superstar shakeup. I would have had fun with this a little bit. It would have been cool to like play musical chairs with Miz on brands without having him have to actually say that he got moved to like another brand. Like I would have loved for them to like, you know, play games with him a little bit, like have him lose the title, have be stuck on SmackDown, have him win the title tonight, have him have to defend the title again, only to get sent back to SmackDown. But in the process, the Miz Taraj joins back with the Miz, and they just keep playing musical chairs with the Miz, and he's like, he just gets frustrated, and he's like, you know what? Make up your mind. I'm either Raw or I'm SmackDown because I'm not traveling both shows anymore. I think it would have been super entertaining, especially having the Miz do it.
What about you, Sam?
Yeah, well, for my prediction, I'm going with Seth Rollins to retain the title. You have the Miz on SmackDown.
Oh, I think we just lost Steve. Hopefully you'll be back in a few minutes. So what do you mean by that, Nate? You would have had him sort of bounce back and forth. Like the Miz Taraj is interesting right now. Like they don't even have their theme. They're coming out to the Miz theme.
Yeah, so basically the way they set up the story was like, you know, they had Kurt Angle come out and tell, you know, Miz, guess what? You're going to SmackDown. And he's just like, but I'm Raw. And he's like, well, it's too late. The shakeup's done, blah, 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 whatever. Have him go over to SmackDown, have this match with Seth Rollins, have him win that match with Seth Rollins, and then come back on Raw and said, yeah, you thought you could get rid of me, but I'm your Intercontinental Champion, and I'm not going anywhere. And then go, well, guess what? Tonight you're defending the Intercontinental title, and have him lose and go, guess what, Miz? Your contract was as good as you holding the title. You're going back to SmackDown. It would have been so entertaining to see him bounce back between both shows, not knowing where he was going to land.
That would have been great. I like that. I like that.
Creative team, I just think they could have played with it a little bit better, and it would have been a hell of a lot more funny. But in terms of what you said before, Ed, you're right. Miz needs to go to the next level, and he's got to be on that short list in the next 6 to 8 months in terms of the World Heavyweight Championship.
Oh.
He's money, he's draw, he's everything that the company needs, wants, and could prosper with going down the line. Absolutely. So in this case, I'm taking Rollins.
Same here. And, you know, it's one of those things, like the guy's proved himself. He's come a long way, a very, very, very long way. But especially in the last 2 years, you know, like he has just been so consistently slowly climbing every single week. And that's what you have to do. Sometimes you don't need that like massive push right away and then okay, now you're a top dog. You need to just slowly kind of go up and whatever way you're booked, heel, face, whatever the case is, you just need to be consistently good, and people are going to start to get behind you, and you're going to get that following, and whatever the case is. Miz is so good that, you know, he can be a top heel on SmackDown and be a champion, or you know what? If you're really smart, eventually the guy could be a very good face too. He's got a big enough following now. People respect him. They see what he's done. His in-ring is, you know, definitely passable. And he's just gotten better and better as he goes. He's just consistently good. I'm not going to say he's the best in ring. No, he's very good in ring. But, you know, all of his other elements help outshine that particular that sort of topic, if you will. It's like Alexa Bliss. Yeah, she might not be the best in ring, but everything else that she does is just spectacular. That you're just like, okay, well, Alexa Bliss is the bomb. You know, like she's one of the top women. So, Steve, I know you got dropped off, man. Hopefully everything's cool. Give us your prediction, man.
Yeah, it was weird. Everything froze. But yes, I'm going with Seth Rollins to retain the championship. I simply to have, and it would make sense to have this, to have it for Seth Rollins. I mean, he's been great as a champion. I think he's even improved to me in the ring since he's been the Intercontinental Champion. And you have the Miz, yes, who has held the Intercontinental Championship for a long time and many different times. But now being on SmackDown Live, you know, I think this one being the easiest one to predict because of that, because of the Superstar shakeup, because of the brand extension. I have two mid-card championships on one brand. So the simplest way to do that, to not give WWE any more headaches than they have or already need, I'm going with Seth Rollins to retain the IC title and hold it for a couple more months.
Well, easily a couple more months. Like he can have a very solid reign if he keeps doing what he's doing. Seth Rollins, knock on wood, he's been healthy for a long time. He has been the workhorse for WWE, from the gauntlet match to, the show that he put on the WrestleMania as well. Like, man, like the guy is just proving time and time again why he was born to do this. And you just see it in his energy, in his confidence, and everything else that comes packaged with the guy, that he is just a very solid worker. He can both ends of the spectrum. He's fantastic as far as he's a great heel, but he's also a very good face. And he was like in purgatory at one point, maybe about a year ago, if I'm not mistaken, where you're like, okay, well, what's really happening with him? But he just stepped it up like tenfold, especially in 2018, where so far he has just been looking stellar, putting on great matches and everything else. He's doing all the right things. He should be rewarded this victory. I'd like to see Miz elevated to that next upper echelon. It's about that time. But the problem is with that, it's like it all depends on this next match. So it's perfect transition into the AJ Styles Nakamura. If you're going to make Miz the champion, and if you're going to have Nakamura not capitalize off of this pretty decent heel run, I have to say, then Miz is going to be your next one up there, and he should be the one to, beat AJ Styles. It's a tricky one, right? Like, you can have Nakamura be champion here in this match. Him against AJ, he's doing all the right things, no speak English and all this other stuff, and the low blows and, great balls of fire and all that kind of stuff, just joking. But at the end of the day, he's doing great work. And, again, I hate to keep counting how many times this guy's had lost. He loses this. This is his fifth time now. Mind you, okay, three of them were as a face wrestler, and I think this is the second one as a heel. I could be wrong there, and I apologize if I am. I don't have the facts in front of me. I'm just going by my memory. At the end of the day, though, could Nakamura come away a champion here? I don't know, guys. Can he? Because if he doesn't, what are you going to do with him? Seriously, what are you going to do with Nakamura if he doesn't win tonight? Nate, I want to hear your thoughts.
In terms of the results of the match, I have a no contest, even though it's no DQ. I just think that this thing's going to be super chaotic, and both guys are not going to be able to finish the match. Like, one of them's going to be out of commission, and then they're just going to call it, and it's going to be a no contest. Yes, that's right. I'm predicting a schmoz for the main event. That's right.
Schmoz.
Yeah. It's just going to be thrown out. There's going to be no decisive winner.
Oh, I got it. Going based off of your prediction, you have money coming up. What if the Miz win that, and then they have another match together, and then the Miz wins that and cashes in the same night. Interesting. But again, then you have like, what are you going to do with Nakamura after that? This is the problem I have with this feud. What are you going to do with Nakamura if he doesn't win the title?
Tag him up with Jinder Mahal and make them the SmackDown champs.
Okay, I can see that. I don't know if you were kidding or not. It's hard to tell with you sometimes, but I think that's actually a pretty good idea. Steve?
That's what I do. I'm the quick fix for creative.
Yeah, somebody in the chat room actually said that you were always right. And I wonder who that was. Steve, who do you got on this match?
And I'm going with AJ Styles to actually win this match and retain. Nakamura trying to go for a couple of low blows. Styles actually being prepared this time and getting the win. And the fact that it's no DQ, I think really helps in the prediction of AJ Styles retaining. And where Nakamura goes from this, I think moving forward to the next month, we have Money in the Bank, one of my favorite pay-per-views. Yep. For me, I say it's above Survivor Series now, part of the Big Four. And I think, though, sometimes, WWE could just throw superstars in there. But I also think most of the time when they do have these Money in the Bank ladder matches, now men and women's, they put a lot of thought into it and which superstar they want to have. I mean, just think of next month. For the men's ladder match for the briefcase, you could have Shinsuke Nakamura, Daniel Bryan, Jinder Mahal, Big Cass, and Samoa Joe maybe, and whoever else, whatever, six men, 5 men, 3 Raw, 3 SmackDown, however they're going to divvy it up. I don't really care. They can have 12. I don't give a crap. I'm going to love it, and I'm going to enjoy it. I'm going to eat it up, just like with the women's. I just love the concept of the match, and I just love the pay-per-view itself. So I think moving forward, I think that's where Shinsuke Nakamura could at least be placed. Now from there, feud could be set up for him at that said pay-per-view during that match with whoever, whatever. But here I'm going with AJ Styles to retain and continue to be WWE champion.
I don't know, man. I feel like his time is done now. I think he's proven that he is, without a shadow of a doubt, the best in both, not both promotions, but both brands right now. I don't know if he needs to have the title any longer, guys. I don't know. I think he kind of, if you will, shocked a little bit of people at WrestleMania, because I think a lot of people thought myself included, thought Nakamura was going to win that. I was shocked more with the heel turn at the end. I thought that was well done. I don't know if he needs to hold on to the title any longer. It's a tough one. It's a real tough one. I don't know. All things considered, Backlash is going to be very interesting tonight. Again, maybe not so much from a match card standpoint. And, I think that particular match should close out the show. AJ and Shinsuke, I don't see why you would have anything else close out the show, right? You guys have any other ideas?
No, I agree.
The only idea that's running through my head right now is that Steve brought it up before, that Money in the Bank. I'm thinking if they really want to get creative with it, they should have a red briefcase, a blue briefcase, both hanging up from the top, and put 8 guys in the ring. And not only do you get a title shot, you have the choice to jump brands to the other side.
So you think there should be 2 briefcases
on the top? Why not? That's creative.
I like it. But
somebody's going to have a run on SmackDown for 6 months. Somebody else pulls down the blue briefcase. You still have a shot at the red one. All of a sudden, your career goes 180 in a different direction on a different brand with a world title shot.
So you're saying that there should be 2 winners?
Yep.
And I like that idea. I know I was the one that heading into this year's Money in the Bank, already hearing that it was going to be double branded, for Raw and SmackDown Live, that they should have, 4 briefcase matches. At first, that's where I was going, having 4 separate ones. Raw Women's, SmackDown Women's, WWE, and Universal. I have all 4. But this idea coming from Nate, I think, is even better than mine. You have all crop of superstars from both the brands in the one ladder match for the men and women's, and then you could have 2 winners. So let's say we get the Raw one coming down, then you get the match continues with superstars in there. The winner can go back with their briefcase, and then you get another winner. So I actually like that idea.
Agreed. Sorry, Steve. But let's say the Miz takes down the SmackDown one, for instance. So he leaves the match with the briefcase, but the match continues. That's a good idea. I like that. 8 people. You can even stretch it out to 10. I know it sounds like a lot, but you can maybe stretch it out to 10 just because of that particular idea. That's very good. I like that idea a lot. Hopefully they do something like that. 4 matches. You know, a lot of people thought it.
Make sure I get my check in the mail. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah.
We'll split it 3 ways.
Great. What was that?
We'll split it 3 ways since you guys like the idea and I came up with it. We'll split the check 3 ways. How's that?
Well,
we'll do a table for 3.
Table for 3, baby. Who pays for the check? No. Who I guess Nate, you might. I don't even know about splitting it 3 ways. I think you should get a little bit more of the kitty, to be honest with you. You're the one that came up with it, so you can get more of the money, but you're paying for that dinner. Deal? Excellent. Well, gentlemen.
And now I'm stuck buying dinner for 2 guys.
Yeah, don't worry. We'll do something nice and easy. You know, Steve's a greenhead guy. He probably wants something that involves cheese. We'll see what we can kind of put together. You know what I mean? Gentlemen, I have to say, we went through the entire card in about an hour, and it's been a pleasure to have you.
Did we? I think we missed a match. Did we? Unless I missed it while I was, gone. But did we predict the Raw Women's Title match?
Oh, you're 100% right. I'm sorry. Nia Jax and Alexa Bliss. Going back to
Alexa Bliss that small that we don't notice that she's there.
I mean, she's the guy at the WWE. You don't want to forget about her.
I feel like if she was on this podcast, she would pop up in the corner and say, "A moment of bliss. I can't believe you forgot me. This is bullying, and I will not stand for it. Is because I'm that short." Yeah, I don't know, guys. This is an interesting one. I'm okay with Nia Jax retaining here.
So am I.
Same here.
Well, I'm glad we could talk about that one. At the end of the day, guys, it's going to be an interesting pay-per-view. Different finishes could go different ways. It's worth tuning into. It didn't have the best build-up, but at the end of the day, it's something that, it's post-WrestleMania. This is something that, as fans, you can see maybe where they're going to go going forward. It's a very important pay-per-view to tune into one way or another, however you look at it, because it sets the direction going forward into, as Steve mentioned, the next WWE season, which is live and happening right now. So I won't keep you guys any longer.
The pre-show is coming on.
What's that?
Pre-show is coming on. Let's go.
Pre-show is coming on with a panel not as strong as the one that we just did. So I'd like to take the opportunity and thanks both of you for making the time to come on Mounties Corner in Mounties Studios, having you guys live for the WWE Backlash predictions and banter. And this was a lot of fun. So thanks again. Don't everybody talk at the same time.
I was just trying to be cordial and polite because I have a big mouth and I tend to ramble on. And it's truly an honor and a privilege to always come on these panels and give my 2 cents, and much respect to both of you guys and what you're doing with your channels. I look forward to continue to do these projects with you. Thank you for the opportunities, and hope you guys really enjoy the pay-per-view tonight so that we have nothing to bitch about tomorrow morning to our coworkers.
Yeah, thank you for the invite, guys, for being here. I certainly enjoyed my time here. And talking about Backlash, and I think Backlash, like I said in the opening when I came on, I think Backlash is going to be better than most anticipated to be. I will be live tweeting, so if people want to join the conversation with me, you're welcome to tweet me at WWE_podcast. Check out my fabulous channel, youtube.com/user/complete08 Sports Talk Network, where my podcast resides, Steve's Wrestling Ramble.
Excellent. And you can find Nate he's got a YouTube channel, 5-Minute Promo is the name of it. You can also follow him on Twitter. Nate, you want to give him your credentials real quick before we split?
Nate Dawg 514 on Instagram. Add me, like what I do, respect what I do. If not, I'll hunt you down. What else can I say? Nate Dawg 316 on Twitter. Yeah. I'm not really shy when it comes to my opinion. I just throw it out there. I see what sticks to the wall. Some people don't like it. Some people do. Best part is freedom of expression. It's wrestling, guys. Have fun. If not, you're missing the point.
Agreed. Agreed. And that's why we do these videos around. Have a good time. See if our predictions are going to be right. We feel something that should happen. To see if it, and that's why we tune in. It's probably going to be a part of our lives for, well, as long as our lives are. At least I'm not going anywhere. So if you guys are new to this channel, if maybe Nate or a couple subscribers of Steve's happen to join us tonight, please look me up on YouTube. Mounties Corner is the name. You will not regret being a member of the Mountie Maniacs. You guys can follow me on Instagram at mounties_corner. You can also follow me on Twitter at Mounties Corner. Everything's the same, but every week something's different. I'm probably one of the more versatile YouTubers for WWE that is out there right now. I do all kinds of great things. WWE skits, funny things like that. I do podcasts with fine gentlemen such as yourself. I also do predictions. I do all kinds of collaborations with fellow YouTubers. So if you want to collab with me, all you have to do is reach out to me on one of those platforms. I'll be more than happy to be a tag team partner. So once again, guys, thank you guys for joining. I am the Mountie, and I always get my views. All of you tuning in tonight, and you guys on the panel have been mounted. That's right. Rip them. Have a good night. Enjoy the pay-per-view. Love you guys. Take care.